based on their experience in the first year, they've got a lot. They've all got a lot to prove, right? They've all got a
Yeah.
lot of drive and motivation. I don't think year one went the way any single one of these players wanted. I don't
Well,
think they
maybe
expected it.
Kuhlect.
Yeah, except for maybe Kuhlect. Well, even then, Kuhlect definitely clutched it up and had that fantastic world's placing. But we had just a whole slew of issues going
Yeah.
on for the whole first year here. So considering Spartan, KingNick, and LethuL get an opportunity, especially to come out, maybe play some of these teams, be on teams where everybody wants them on the team. A lot of conversations have been happening lately, even on social and YouTube and things, about the chemistry needed to be involved with the team, everyone wanting to play together, believing in each other. And I think that's something some of these teams were definitely missing last year. You could just tell by the amount of different roster changes and maybe heat some players were catching with certain events. So to have them all together now in a situation where none of them really had like great options, or they all had what they wanted, and this is what was almost forced on them. With the Sentinels members leaving to go to FaZe, and of course Spartan and KingNick being forced off of FaZe, having to find a new home because of that Sentinels move. So there's a lot of history here in between these teams.
Let's talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is a debatable subject of the greatest player of all time being dropped from his team. And now what does his career have in store for him? And I said debatable for a reason. Obviously, Ogre 2 is my GOAT. LethuL's got to be right there next to him with all the accolades he's been able to achieve, though, over like the past 15 years, however long he's been competing. And this is a massive moment. We're going to learn a lot about LethuL and where he stands in that history books, in my opinion, because if he can get the job done without the rest of those boys that were on Sentinels, if he can get the job done again, you got to be kidding me, right? Like, that would be an unbelievable message sent to the entire competitive scene. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't know. I don't know what to expect from the Sentinels roster. I think they could have a very high ceiling. I think they could have a very low floor. So I'm excited to see how he responds to the kind of all the adversity that he's had to go through from the off season, right? Because this is something that he hasn't faced in a very long time. And as you get older, I feel like the more difficult these moments become. But LethuL's a champion, so I expect him to rebound. I expect him to have a positive influence on the rest of the Sentinels team. We'll see if it's enough to take down the Kings in Optic.
LethuL was on top of the competitive community before that Tox squad was even built.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, he was with Lunchbox and Roy winning events before joining with Snakebite World 2 and then continuing to win events. So now, all these years later, that team has essentially run its course, and now LethuL is on a new squad. Is he going to still be able to remain in that high level of competition?
Yeah, that's the big question. If he can get a win with a team like Sentinels, that would be unbelievable. And I think this team is going to. Will they have a question? Unfortunately, they don't have the lives right now, as they're going to lose the break. All 4 members of Sentinels will go down. It's a 2-2 split for APG and Formal, and even better yet for Optic fans, Formal gets the camouflage.
Now, I'm assuming this is probably going to be a little bit of a different Optic than what we saw this morning. Whenever a team like Optic loses a series, it doesn't take long. Let's just rewind to Halo World Championships, and when they played Cloud9 in that first series, losing it, but then bouncing back stronger than ever for the second championship series and actually winning Halo World. So this is a team that probably was like, okay, we can't just overlook teams. We can't just get on and go through the motions. We need to be bringing our A game, and when they do bring their A game, that's when it's scary.
Well, not that I ever had to deal with this, Kyle, but you were in multiple positions where, hey, you're a top dog, you're top seed in the tournament, you're coming off championships, whatever it may be, and you're going to get the best of everyone's focus, right? Everyone's going to play you. It's like saying when people play the Chiefs in the NFL, every team gets their best shot. Like, the Chiefs gets everyone's best shot. You got everyone's best shot when you were on straight ripping, on instinct when you were dominant. And right now, Optic is going to have to deal with everyone's best shot, because that's the price you pay when you're the favorite.
Right, exactly. I mean, going into the Halo offseason, which we just had, this is essentially kicking off Season 2 here with the Space Station Gaming Spartan Snowdown. What you saw was Optic Gaming went into the offseason relaxed, happy, satisfied. They were Halo World Champions. They had the repeats to end the year, and they were feeling good about everything that happened. Everyone else Every other team is going into the offseason waiting for the season to start.
Yeah.
What can I do to get back on top? These guys, a lot of these teams are not even used to falling into the second, third, or even fourth place positions at events. So they are coming out. They've been waiting for this moment, waiting for the season to start. And Optic, they're going to be one of the ones, even though they've been completely dominant in scrims and you can never say anything negative about them pretty much, they the same motivation levels, the same revenge tour that you're seeing from like Boo Boo Doo Boos and Snipe Downs and all these other people like at the end of last season. This is the moment they've been waiting for, like LethuL here.
A massive target on Optic's head. What will they do with it? Already taken down once in pool play. If they lose again, they're out. Aggressiveness into the base of Sentinels. They get 3 kills. They get another flag on the move. They weren't able to cap the first one in this exact situation earlier, but this one far more promising as it goes across the halfway mark. It's TriPPPeY with the flag in hand, getting it to his bridge, and as a kill comes through on the KingNick, you have to think this is going to be Optic taking the lead 1-0.
You can see Kuhlect goes down. Spartan picks up a double kill of his own over there towards the P side of the map. But right as that cap goes in, you can see players pushing up. KingNick didn't see that TriPPPeY had already pushed up, so he will be able to secure himself a free kill over there towards car 3 and stay alive by hiding down by car 1.
Yeah, good patience on the 2-shot melee too, right? TriPPPeY didn't panic and melee back. It's knowing your advantages, knowing you have the correct timing, spacing. When KingNick melees first, that's a guaranteed loss in the fight for him. A great job by TriPPPeY to hit the shots, follow up, and that's allowed the control that they once had, but now with 2 dead, flag on the move for Sentinels. It's LethuL with the flag in hand, and a couple of kills went their favor earlier on this flag route. Respawners are coming through for Optic, but Lucid's not to no shield. 3 straight kills in the kill feed. It's up to APG to try and stop this one. He's in a solid position, but he's getting sandwiched, and Spartan has that eye on continuing to move the flag. Great grenade from APG to take down that flag carrier, stall the movement of it. Respawners for Optic are here, and it's going to have to be continued slays on the side of Sentinels if they want to tie this game up.
That was an amazing job by APG to actually secure that kill. He was essentially dead to rights, backed up, was pushing back into his own base, but ran out to throw a grenade and actually secure the kill on Spartan, preventing that flag from moving here. Nice shots by Kuhlect. He will keep the flag alive, and this is going to be Sentinels putting one on the board to tie up this game. And, you know, I think there might be smelling blood in the water.
If you're not familiar with who Kuhlect is, pay attention during this series. He's going to make some plays that help Sentinels' opportunity to win this series. He's an incredibly individually skilled player. Got a few solid placings last year. This is by far his biggest opportunity in his young career, and we'll see what he's able to do with it. Right now, 4 members down for Sentinels, however. Optic coming off respawn as well. Just a couple of players advanced on the map. Sentinels going to be forced to focus on defense, maintaining control of the util, and you can say that they're focused on it, but they're not to no shield as they're getting in there, and that's going to be an easy grenade kill. It's going to open up the doors for another Optic push.
And you can see they push out front of the base. KingNick, wow, he does pick up a kill. Formal was hiding 1 shot right around there too. Manages to stay alive, but not long enough as Kuhlect pushes in, finishes off the kill, forces APG back, and the aggression that we were just seeing from Optic here is quickly shut down.
Quickly shut down. Great defensive stand there from Sentinels. A phenomenal job. You still got TriPPPeY in your base. You got to deal with him and the commander rifle in hand, but LethuL with perfect shots onto TriPPPeY. Executes the last player from Optic. The defense stands strong, and that's a step in the right direction for Sentinels. If you're able to defend what was once a very favorable opportunity from Optic, that bodes well for your opportunity in this series, and I love what we're seeing here early on in this series out of the Sen boys.
You can see lots of action happening over here on the car side of the map. A player trying to get away, no shields, but KingNick will grab himself a double kill. That's numbers advantage now once again for Sentinels, as we're going to see if they're able to put together anything here in their base. But just as I say that, KingNick goes down, Optic clearing it out, and essentially we're back to a 50-50.
Good shots by Kuhlect. Perfect shots by Kuhlect. I'll add to that. 13 and 14, but keeping his team in that, winning some big 1v1s. And every 1v1 you win against a team like Optic, those are massive wins because they don't come often. LethuL able to clear his closet out as he gets that kill as well. And I mean, just overall, Sentinels keeping up with the slays of Optic Gaming bodes well for, like I continue to say, their opportunities in this series, which I didn't know how much they would have. Seeing them scrim earlier this week, I had concerns when I saw this was going to be a matchup in pool play. Sentinels come tournament time, look much stronger than they did in their first few scrims.
Yeah, and it's something with LethuL. It doesn't matter what team he is on, you can never count him out.
No,
right?
never.
He is a player that has the ability to step up, a player that has the ability to fill any role on his team.
There he goes.
And look at these shots, dude. Just going absolutely clutch. Stay alive, secure some kills, and with 2 dying, I don't think they're going to be able to run this flag. That might be a death wish here that TriPPPeY keeps moving it.
If LethuL doesn't win that 1v1, this is a guaranteed cap. Now they have an opportunity to compete for it. Unfortunately, though, TriPPPeY makes a play, gets a double, continues the run, 4 down for Sentinels. It's still going to be a cap, but LethuL's 1v1 did give them an opportunity to try and stop it. TriPPPeY's play was just too strong after.
Yeah, I was just talking about how it might not work out because of how clutch LethuL went there. And sure enough, TriPPPeY just plays the situation perfectly, kills LethuL with a shot grenade, finishes the kill on Spartan. He kept the flag alive, moved it carbine, got a double, and then ran it the rest of the way. Just absolutely great plays from TriPPPeY.
Trying to secure this camera right now. LethuL's not going to shield. Pay attention. He's going to be the camo player. If we can hop on board with him, that would be big. Kuhlect winning another massive 1v1. We saw it on the side of the Optic Gaming team. LethuL does still, I believe, have camo, but you got to get some map control. Flag is going to be on the move on the side of Sentinels, but they got a guy on their base. Sparty, he gets a nice flank. 2 go down for Optic, and with Sentinels with the flag on the move, they'll have an opportunity to tie this game up once again.
Wow, great shots by Lucid. Picks up the player that just grabbed thrust front of the base. He's stuck, no shields bottom middle. LethuL's trying to finish off the kill. Keeps the flag alive, has thrust, and the double back to pick up the kill onto Lucid. Absolutely sick plays here from LethuL. LethuL is, you know, we talked a little bit about his role on Sentinels, but it almost kind of, I think, kept him in a box a little bit. He's always just trying to help out everyone else, always trying to force the objective in a lot of cases because he knows just how his teammates' playstyles are. But now with an arguably more aggressive type roster that he's with, mainly in the likes of Spartan and Kuhlect, it just allows him to really kind of play his own game more.
Absolutely. And LethuL was leading his team in frags. Now Kuhlect does, but right now all 4 members of Sentinels are going to be coming off respawn. So although they tied the game with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, you're coming off respawn, your flag's being run, and Lucid with a perfect slide is going to make this a very quick opportunistic cap here. I don't believe anyone's going to be in a place that they can stop Lucid from pushing this in. He takes shots, but not enough. He punches it in, takes a 3-2 lead for Optic.
And 2 of these caps that have gone in here for Optic, I almost think Sentinels has been trying a little bit too hard to stop them. You can see Lucid, he still gets the cap, picks up a few kills, and they're not in a position to really counter cap at all because they've put too much damage on the players that end up living here and securing those flag caps. So we do have the next camo up, lots of thrusts and heat waves and everything just all over the map. So many explosions. Lucid, though, too clutch. Finishes off KingNick. That thrust and heat wave down is going to do wonders for them.
A nice heat wave shot to at least get Lucid to no shield. When you're in a tough situation like that, it's so important to figure out a way to do damage. KingNick does it. They trade Lucid out. Everybody trading top card appears. Camo in the hands of APG. Somehow he gets away with it, stays alive, but he gets spotted out, hunted down, taken down. APG creates a numbers advantage for Sentinels now with that death.
Yeah, you can see they have mostly full control of the map. But the player in window, Formal, the human turret, just doing so much to grab himself a double and slow down this aggression.
Big double by Formal with 1 minute and 5 seconds on the clock. Every kill for Optic Gaming is another win condition off the boards for Sentinels. They got to get away. They got to figure out a way to get some control here, to get a flag on the move in this next minute, or this game 1 will be going into Optic's hands. No matter how well they played the situation, you still got more work to do. And speaking of doing work, Kuhlect finds himself a double, finds himself the opening to push in.
Now, they only need 1 cap to tie this up. There's only 40 seconds left on the game clock, but Kuhlect, he's just killed at least 3 people as he made his way into Optic's base. He is saving the squad right now. They need to get a couple more kills. They have a lot of time to work with the overtime rules in Halo Infinite. All he needs to do is pick up a few kills, just as I say that 2 go down, so it's a 2v2, but it just wasn't enough. TriPPPeY gets taken out. KingNick needs to grab himself this kill, which he does. Getting a second one would be huge. 15 seconds. I like this play. Not sure where anyone is. Likes to get the flag out. Trying to buy his team enough time to get back involved here.
It just seems so much harder for the side of Sentinels right there, right? Kuhlect get those 3 kills, but still nobody really getting enough done outside of Kuhlect right there to get a flag on the move. Try as they might, Sentinels will fall down in this series 1-0. Optic Gaming will win that game 1 3-2 on Aquarius CTF. As highly as a contested Aquarius CTF game as you're going to see, at no point was the lead up to 2 flags. It was always 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2. Optic Gaming looked like the better team structured wise when the flag runs were going. I felt like Sentinels had to work a little bit harder for their caps. A little bit more slays had to come through. But promising signs, especially from a newly formed team. And hopefully that's what's the storyline for the entire series, because we could be going the distance if that's how well Sentinels can play.
Yeah, you can tell Sentinels is not afraid of playing Optic here. I think they
No.
may have kind of overextended a little bit, trying to prevent some fly caps from going in when they could have maybe maintained control and slowed down. Maybe even forced another counter cap off of one of the Optic caps had they killed the players that were sitting top center, or maybe secured some more thrusts. LethuL, I think, playing absolutely out of his mind. Kuhlect really showing up in a big way. Like we said, this is a big opportunity for him to just show how talented he is, which we all know if you've kind of watched him or followed his career up to this point here. So yeah, 3-2, pretty much overtime win, or at least going down to the distance here for a 3-2. This is going to be a close match. And like we said, if Optic does not take the series, they're pretty much as good as out of making bracket play.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. So Optic, with their backs against the wall, they get the job done in game 1. It's a best of 5 though. So for Optic to continue their tournament run, we're going to need to win a couple more games here. Live Fire Slayer is the name of the game for game 2 of this series. First to 50 kills, and you better get the snipe out of Lucid's hands.
Absolutely here. So Live Fire Slayer, we saw how they kind of work around an objective map that we saw with Aquarius here. Heatwave and Sniper. Who's going to be able to contest the OSs most effectively? Who's going to be able to control these power weapons? When you get to teams that have this level of skill, power weapons are the game changer here for both teams.
First couple of kills going to Optic once again. They won the break on Aquarius, but Sentinels did a good job to rebound after that opening break. We'll see if that's the same story as you see. Optic, it's formal with the heat wave, getting a kill, but more importantly, setting up for this next overshield. And this overshield can create a snowball effect if they can secure it, and it looks like that's what Optic has done.
And great kill. LethuL helps secure the kill on the heatwave player, gets a second pick, getting damage down on both the OS player and the player sitting over towards the dummy side of the map. Now TriPPPeY, he's out of OS, but he's still got heatwave in his hands, getting information, just working on staying alive here with the squad. Looks like the map's pretty much flipped 50-50 here right now. All of Optic over towards the A side of the map.
Okay, so you lose Snipe, you lose Heatwave, you lose OS, and you're only down 3. That's a very manageable situation. How do they play it from here? Can they figure out a way to keep this game close before the next round of power responds?
1 kill apiece for everyone on the Sentinel squad. A 7-4 leads, only 3 kills. Spartan does grab himself 1 as Lucid picks up a snipe kill. They got to be very careful, though. You just know how deadly Lucid is with this thing, how much confidence he has. He hits the shot onto Spartan, forces him back, gets the help from Formal, and they will go ahead and secure that kill. You can see now 3 members of Optic pushing towards Nest, working on collapsing and clearing out the Sentinels player in KingNick. But will he be able to stay alive? Buy enough time for his teammates to kind of push across and get this sniper rifle away from Lucid.
Good push by KingNick. Even better job to stay alive when he was back elbow, right? Because he stays alive, he's able to get that kill. But in the meantime, a lot of time off the board, and OS, it's coming up right now. And Optic Gaming, perfect positioning to try and acquire this. You see a couple members from Sentinels are set up to try and deny it. They get a couple of kills. The flank from LethuL is massive to deny overshield. 2 kills go into Sparty's hands. More importantly, though, the overshield goes in the hands of LethuL, and the kills are separated by 2.
Yeah, they had all 4 members of Optic down for a moment, and it looks like Optic got a little bit of split spawns as you see him coming up back towards the tower area of the map and over here towards B. Fortunately, TriPPPeY does clean up 1, make that 2 kills, make that 3 kills for TriPPPeY.
Yeesh.
And that is one of the plays that I think Sentinels wishes they could probably have back here. Coming off of a 4 dead for Optic, getting Heatwave, getting OS, but then going 3 dead themselves, that one's definitely going to hurt in the long run.
17-11 now. 8 kills for TriPPPeY. That triple kill boosted it from 5 to 8, but a massive triple kill in a moment that it looked like Optic was going to get pressed. Right now, it's Spartan trying to push with a teammate, but even a trade from Formal with a sticky. As that kill doesn't mean much to the end game right now. Formal doing a great job of figuring out a way to trade in a 1v2 situation, coming off respawn right back into combat. Kuhlect gets the better of him here, but it's a trade top middle, 3 down on each side. And although Sentinels did a good job to get their kills there, they need to find a way to do it without trading if they want to come back.
Right, you can see a 3-for-3 trade is something Optic's more than happy to take here. They secure themselves a sniper rifle, and having a 6-kill lead just maintain this little cushion here for them to play around with on the map. OS is getting ready to come up shortly. Looks like Lucid and crew are just kind of clearing out, trying to start setting up here, clearing out different areas so that they're not going to get flanked, and both teams are going to clash here over this overshield.
APG with combo in hand as the counter to overshield. Doesn't even need to press this as long as he's able to combo the overshield eventually. But you know Optic want their hands on that overshield. They want that power curve. They're going to be pushing for it. Sparty here with an AR. Can't get the job done. TriPPPeY with some beautiful shots will once again award his team with the overshield. So it's against the overshield. TriPPPeY makes a play for the next overshield. TriPPPeY makes another play. And at 14 kills, TriPPPeY has started to take over.
You can see Optic is definitely not happy about what happened this morning here, and they are out for blood, especially TriPPPeY here. He has been going so clutch in every scenario. The repulse plays for Optic, there's been several already to keep just great momentum here rolling for this squad. That 6-kill cushion that we just talked about with that last OS battle has now put it up to 12.
TriPPPeY with 15, almost half of his team's kills. Headed towards a 25 burger if he can keep it up, and he's looking to be aggressive. That's another one for TriPPPeY as he repulses LethuL off the map. And right now, Sentinels need to figure out a way to create some space because all Optic are doing are pushing off the spawn. They're keeping continuous pressure right now, and it's so difficult for Sentinels to come off respawn and feel comfortable.
Oh, you're absolutely right here. You can see Optic gets shot back B. Now, a game like this can, even with live fire, you can definitely get back into it after a huge deficit, but you got to find one of those momentums with power weapons and just constantly collapsing on the enemy team here. Whether or not you're going to be able to do that against Optic after what we're seeing from TriPPPeY, who's on demon time right now, that's going to be a different story.
17 and finally taken down. But as he respawns, you know he's looking to be aggressive. Lucid's finding a kill bottom middle as well. And kills, although they're being traded right now, trades are not going to benefit Sentinels in the least bit. Beautiful shots with the commando there. Just about a perfect from Lucid. As overshield coming up, and it's been a flawless overshield story on the side of Optic Gaming so far throughout this game. The one that they got away from them, they executed perfectly. And even though they lose the battle for this one, it would be an insurmountable comeback that's attempted here with this overshield in the hands of Sparty.
Yeah, we're going to have to see the best overshield usage of all time if they have any chance of even getting back into this at all. And just as I say that, they got 3 members of Optic. They do not want this overshield player to live. And sure enough, he does get taken out. And that's a 2-for-2 trade with overshield. Spartan did just about everything he could there to buy time and stay alive. But Optic just too effective on those trades. And with a big lead like this, those trades are just not something you can accept.
He needed the endless clip cheat in order to take down any of those players, but the 50th kill comes through. TriPPPeY ends with 19. The statement game from Optic. It's not a stake, but it's a dominant game 2. A little bit different of a story from game 1. And Optic looking like they're starting to hit a nice flow in final form here as they try to end this series in 3 games.
Yeah, as you can see, everything will be extremely important here. Sentinels looking prime to win their group in the Pool A. And you can see Optic, with that loss to French Toast earlier, put them in a really bad spot. So every game they can win or every series they can secure 3-0 is definitely going to go to help them out a lot as they look to proceed to bracket play. 2-0 lead. Game number 1, extremely close, coming all the way down to the wire. But game number 2, 6-kill lead in the first half. And then that just built and built and built all game. All those overshield grabs, or even the overshield grabs that Optic did not get, nothing really came out of it for Sentinels. The player ended up getting triple teamed, or when they ended up pushing, they went, I think, 0-3 on the desk here, when they did have that control where you really want to kind of cut down on that lead, having Heatwave and Overshield.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot they could do that game, but as we shift our mindset to recharge strongholds, this is a game type that I think of Optic Gaming when I think of this map and mode. They are very dominant with the shock rifle, just about in anybody's hands. But more importantly, the amount of pressure they apply, their rotations seem to be flawless at times. What do you think Sentinels needs to do in this game 3 if they want to push this series even to a thought of a game 4?
I mean, I think the most important thing for Sentinels, from what I've seen in these first 2 games right now, is one, when you do have an advantage, or if they do have control, they need to make sure that they wait for each other and execute well. I hate to harp on it or bring it up again, but like we said, they put 4 members down for Optic, spawned them all mud and B, and then went 0-3 down with Overshield Heatwave, right? You just can't have that happen against a team like Optic if you expect to win. That's the scenario where you need to get 5, 6, 7 kills and only die once or twice, not just die and not get anything out of it. So that hurt them really, really badly. If they're able to secure a triple cap and not push the issue too hard, having anyone die early, or any, as a lot of teams or pros will call it, like bad deaths. If you have a bad death, if you watch scrims and things, even some of the communications between them, you get a first pick from a team that has a full setup. You literally say oh, he's throwing, or that guy just costed, and you can then use that opportunity to push across the map and try to break these setups here. So if they're able to avoid being the first one to go down, that's what you have to do against Optic.
Bad deaths cannot happen against the world champions. Can you limit them if you're on the side of the Sentinels to where they don't decide the outcome of the game? It doesn't take much, but any opening, Optic seem to always take an advantage of. For now, Sentinels do jump out to, they fall behind. A and B belonging to Optic Gaming here. A being transferred over from 2 Sentinels, however. It's odd to see Sentinels in blue, because they are so red, so that threw me off right there. But
I think for a lot of people, these next few days, this next week or 2 of scrims, the rest of the Spartan SSG Snowdown tournament, it's going to take a lot to start implanting these teams into your brain. I've known there's been a lot of these things that have been in the works for a while, but even then, you're going to have to watch a lot of gameplay before, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, wait a second, Sentinels is this team now and not the FaZe roster? Definitely a lot of unexpected changes happening.
Good stick by LethuL in a 1v2 situation. It allows Spartan to pick up the single kill as well. Finds himself with a little bit of teamwork from Kuhlect. They take down 3 members of Optic Gaming, and that's a recipe for success for Sentinels. Right now, it's a trip cap, 55-7. How long can they keep? It's the big question. See, it's going to be stalled as well, so this trip cap still in effect. And we're seeing slays continue to go in the favor of Sentinels. LethuL in a 1v1 against Formal. 4, count them, give it to them. The trip cap continues, although they lost C, they actually lose A as well. The pressure on the A is too much. They're going to get A back in control, and that's all because of the 4 shot LethuL just put into Formal.
I mean, this is not the same LethuL that we were looking at last year, Wes. I mean, this LethuL is looking like an APG kind of frosty play style, non-stop aggression, not necessarily trying to just help out all of his teammates, but just running through people.
Yeah, not concerned with what he's supposed to be doing, and more so concerned about what he wants to do, it looks like right now. And I love seeing that out of LethuL. One of the hardest players I ever had the experience of competing against, and it's good to see him in a great form here. 113-7 right now. LethuL and the rest of Sentinels have kicked off game 3 on the right footing. Now let's see what it takes to get the door closed on game 3 and see this series extended.
Yeah, you can see, I mean, 113-point run to open up the game. That is a dream scenario when you're matching up against Optic. It's always a back and forth, who can get bigger chunks of time on the board. If you're getting over 100-point chunks of time to start building these leads, the game will be over very quickly.
Very quickly, but Optic never out of it. And if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. 20 points and starting to climb now. A and B in their hands. More importantly, shock rifle in the hands of TriPPPeY. We know the damage he can do.
You can see the better map positioning definitely goes over to Optic. Besides them already having 2 hills, they've got shock rifle in gold, and players essentially set up to watch his cross.
Got to find a way to take down TriPPPeY. TriPPPeY needs to find a way to create an opening if Optic want to get back into this one now. Up to 50. No kills coming through, and APG finds one. Lucid finds the second. That's almost going to guarantee another round of about 20 points to the green wall, and TriPPPeY feels comfortable enough to go grab the grapple, and he's all of a sudden becomes stacked with power with grapple and shock paired.
Not only that, we've got camo coming up in the next few seconds here, but you can see the level of respect that Optic is giving this team. They put 3 dead just a moment ago, and with everything and all this control they have, not even pushing C. They just want to set up, hold, get back into this game, and not give up or risk overextending.
Yeah, they spot the last 2 players. They get another round of slays here, and that's when the C push is actually going to come through. So they wait for the perfect timing. All 4 dead on the side of Sentinels. It's a clean sweep. Nobody in Optic drops, and because of it, it's now that same trip cap that once was held by Sentinels in the hands of Optic, and we'll see how far Optic can run away with this.
Yeah, you saw the triple cap from Sentinels and how much time they were able to get, but since that moment, it's been all Optic gaming here. TriPPPeY with that shock rifle doing work, maneuvering around the map, getting damage down, and just keeping Sentinels guessing on where he's going to be.
How can Sentinels break this? Is this something that they've gone over enough to understand what they need to do is the big question. You got to find a way to get kills, and the first pick is on to LethuL. APG finding a second as well. Kuhlect trying to get involved, but it's a little bit too late. You get a kill, but it's not enough. 4 dead once again, and a perfect hold from Optic Gaming. Still in control. It's been over a minute now. 160 points and climbing what was once 117 to about 20. All of a sudden flipped on its head, and now still continuing to go downhill in Optic's favor.
Yeah, the hold from Optic, just so impressive. All this time they've been able to accumulate, but this is the opportunity Sentinels has been waiting for. They get the pick on the Lucid, which only puts 3 members of Optic left on the map. They grab themselves a second kill, and just as I say that, now they've finally been able to break this setup. It took a couple minutes, but they make their way into A, and they were able to hold C for a moment. Now, looks like they're electing to go back and contest C and go for an AC setup. I actually really like this. They got the reset. They have APG who picks up the kill on KingNick, but essentially if they're able to secure these kills over here towards C once again, they're going to force Optic to spawn over in gold and potentially keep them trapped there.
LethuL on a flank, trying to get the kill on a formal, needs to get it. Can't get the reset nearly. He's forced to trade there because there's a second member of Optic. They're able to transfer C in their favor, continue scoring. And although Sentinels looked like they had stopped the bleeding, gotten some control, it's immediately ripped right back from Optic Gaming.
Yeah, you can see you got the commando here set up in tower. They know players have pushed over across into red. They get eyes on the second player, so Sentinels has no place to go as they start getting collapsed on. Spartan, people coming at him from 2 different angles. Tries his best to pick up a trade, but TriPPPeY, like we said, TriPPPeY is on demon mode right now and is not looking to close out this series right now.
Yeah. TriPPPeY's one of those players that really didn't take a massive break in the offseason. It's paying off dividends right now, taking over multiple games so far, but it's Lucid, Formal leading the team in kills as well, so everybody doing their part. Optic Gaming trying to close the doors on this series very comfortably in a 3-0 fashion, so any worries the green wall had from earlier today, a loss to a team maybe you didn't expect, well, maybe all you needed to do was poke the bear to wake him up, and Optic Gaming looking like they're in their dominant usual form here as they try to close this one out.
Yeah, you can see Optic's capping A. They've still got B. They're doing an amazing job at defending B here while securing A. But I'm liking this from Sentinels. 2 players push in. That makes 3 dead, and last player alive for Optic over towards A, so they will be able to extend this game, but they can no longer risk losing any control. They should be able to recognize that majority of spawns are going to happen over here towards A. Looks like they in fact do, and they're trying their best to keep players trapped here. The next camo is spawning. Lucid snuck his way over to C. They need to secure these kills, get the resets, and get the next camo.
He gets a trade. That's better than I thought he was going to get, but unfortunately that trade means 2 members go down. The pressure onto A is something that Sentinel or Optic is going to have to worry about. They do get control of B, but in the meantime they lose C. So it's a strange hold of an AC hold. We saw this earlier from Sentinels. You really want to figure out a way to get a few kills and get control of B, because holding A and C is so difficult with how far apart they are.
Oh, 100% here. I mean, there is the benefit, and you can get away with a lot of different types of setups for sure. But, you know, I would say with the shock rifle spawning at C, unless you're able to keep them off of it, having a red player definitely helps watching lots of different crosses here. They're trying for so many hills at the same time, though, and now they're losing C. I think Optic may have finally broke through this setup as they take KingNick and LethuL down.
That's going to do it. Series point match. Optic Gaming take the series 3-0 over Sentinels. They come back in their pool. They will make it out of group play, I believe, due to game differential, if that's what it comes down to. I'm assuming that usually that's what it comes down to. And that creates a very interesting, at least tiebreaker for now, until we learn the rule sets of what that actually means for the entire pool.